Good morning, it's Reverend Dan. Welcome to my Sunday Reflections. Many of us have been reading the book of Acts through May, and today we reach Acts chapter 21, and the chapter starts with Paul, who is on his way to Jerusalem, and we've known from the previous chapter that he's desperate, he's really keen and resolute to get to Jerusalem. But in Acts 21, God's Spirit tells Paul not to go. And after being so resolute and determined to go to Jerusalem, I wonder how painful that must have been for Paul. And so what does he do? Well, instead of going to Jerusalem, he goes to a load of other places. And while he's in a place called Judea, he meets a prophet called Agabus. Now, Agabus comes to Paul and takes Paul's belt. And ties his own hands and feet together and says, "This is what the Spirit says will happen to the person who owns this belt when they are in Jerusalem." I wonder how Paul felt in that moment. Anxious? Worried? Scared? A short while later, we read that Paul and his team got ready and started heading towards Jerusalem. And time for the trailer. God does great things through Paul in Jerusalem. Reflecting on those snippets of that story, parts of Paul's much bigger story, I wonder if there's something for us to learn from as we live in lockdown. I wonder if, through pausing and then encountering Agabus, Paul was more prepared for his destination, more ready for what was going to happen in Jerusalem, and therefore more able to deal with it. I wonder whether after his encounter with Agabus, Paul saw his destination differently. There's been a lot of things happen that we've not been prepared for in 2020, haven't there? Lots of things are now on pause, but it doesn't mean things won't happen. As the world keeps saying, things will be different. To what extent, we don't know. We're being told to expect a new normal. But just like for Paul, who readied himself and carried on, I wonder if we need to be open to readying ourselves for the new normal that is to come. Opening ourselves for the Spirit's prompting. To see lockdown as a space for listening to God's Spirit as we pause. And allow God's Spirit to ready us for what is to come. To be ready for the great things that are to come.
Dear God, as the uncertainties of lockdown continue, help me to make space to pause and listen for your Spirit. Ready me for the future and fill me with excitement for the great things to come.